picked up a 2022 Apex Cutthroat by Salsa, and so let's take a closer look at this thing, see what we've got here. So the Apex model, I believe, is the bottom of the line. That's why I didn't have to sell the Blue Goose Looney when I got this thing. Be that as it may, when I was originally shopping for a gravel bike back in 2018, I test rode a Cutthroat, and if I had got one, I probably wouldn't have 3 gravel bikes right now, because I think this is what I was shopping for initially. It's the more mountain bikey end of the gravel bike spectrum. In fact, this is a drop bar mountain bike, except that mine was purchased from an old BMXer named Tim Cook, who set this thing up with flat bars. They're nice in some regards, and in other regards, whew, yeah. That's where I whacked a tree last week and launched myself 20 feet down the trail like a lawn dart. What I'm going to try before I cut down the bars is just cutting down the grip about that much, moving the brakes out. That way, when I'm descending and threading the needle through trees, my hand is actually out where I'll have some perception of bar to tree contact on the trail, so I don't die out there again. Yeah, Wheelie Test, it's great without the aero bars. These aren't the lightest aero bars, but they are quick release, so I can swap them out between bike to bike to bike pretty quickly. But I've got a light, secondary light, and a tertiary light down here, and who knows, there'll probably be a quaternary light on here before too long. Ironically, the more lights you put on a bike, the less light it really is. The cranks it came with are these 170s. I like a 172.5 a little better. I climb way better with that, so these are gonna have to go. Yeah, there's a forced drivetrain on the Chamois Hagar right now that this thing will probably inherit whenever the Axis ETAP stuff becomes available ever again in the distant future. Not in a hurry, but the reason for this bike was to put an actual suspension fork on here, probably 110 mil, somewhere in there. Maybe a Ren upside down fork. Maybe I'll spend the big bucks for RockShox RS1. Yeah, anyway, 3 good rides on this thing so far. I wasn't a block and a half out the door when I dinged the front rim. Second ride, I just about tore the rear derailleur off, so that's gonna have to go eventually. And third ride, did the old lawn dart crash with a pretty spectacular yard sale down the hillside. Burritos and snacks and tools and cash battery and cables and stickers and phone, and ripped the hydration hose off my hydration pack. It was a proper mess, and bumps and bruises all over my body. The bike came out just fine on that one, except I am missing a bar plug from a different tree right before that. I should have known. Yeah, the Terravale Sparwood 2.2s are doing me right for, you know, Spokane in the springtime. I think if I do something more mountain bikey, I'll get something more mountain bikey. What else can I say about this thing? I will be setting it up with a full frame bag by either the Revel 8 or the Salsa. We'll see when those become available again. This bike is a project for an eventual ride on the Tour Divide, if that's in the cards for me, but I don't want to try and fund that ride and build the bike at the same time. I have already ordered a set of Hunt gravel wheels with the Sun Dynamo hub built in there, and very magically my tax return for this year is the same as the price of the Hunt gravel wheels. Couldn't have planned that better. This WTB saddle it's not an ass hatchet. It's good for a one-off century, but I've got one of these Red Shift suspension seat posts on this thing, and man, you can just truck right down the train tracks with this thing. I kind of want a dropper on here, you know, in case you find a gap jump. It's nice to have that, but I'm a convert to this seat post. I kind of like it. So my big question about these handlebars is, What the hell do you do with a front roller bag with the cables routed like this? I tend to just run a Sea to Summit stuff sack and lash it right down to the bars, and this isn't gonna work. So I'll have to examine options, but I haven't ruled out just going straight to the Redshift kitchen sink bars, because I kind of like them. I have dropped the stem on this thing 2 spacers, and I'm trying to ride that sweet spot between having the bars high enough while I'm sitting upright pedaling and low enough to climb comfortably, and it's kind of on the cusp of being comfortable to climb with now, but we'll see how it is on a longer ride. Get some ergo grips on here. Yeah, all in all, I'm pretty stoked that the Terry Bradshaw has come to live in the herd here. I was contemplating the name Mean Joe Green, you know, Steelers color scheme and all. My cousin is not living in Mean Joe Green's old house back in Pittsburgh. He's living in Terry Bradshaw, so hey, whatever. So my initial impression on the handling of this thing, it's a little upright. Hey, how's it going? It's not as shreddy as the Chamois Hagar. The stack being as high as it is, it kind of rides like a comfort class mountain bike. However, you kind of need it that way if you're knocking out double centuries. Oh yeah, the horn I'm using is the Canadian Gooser 2000. You will fit right in with the herds of geese that clog the bike path this time of year. You just give that thing a honk or two, they will let you through without even flinching. Well, a big plus about the flat bars is that a rapid fire shifter is so much nicer on the hands when they're frozen and numb and cold and uncomfortable. So I'll have to think about that. As always, the gearing on these things come a little higher than I'd like it. So I put a 946 on the back here, and I'll probably be swapping out this 38 for, I don't know, if I ever get around to doing the Utah Mixed Epic, probably put like a 9-tooth chainring on there. So that's it for my initial impressions of the Terry Bradshaw. I'll get it out on a proper trip here in a couple weeks. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Not that I have ever looked at the comments. I don't know, that's above my pay grade.